Previously on next week's episode. This box.
Oh, hell no. I'm out of here.
Time to get busy. I'm not doing an M- joke. It's beneath me. I don't want to look ridiculous.
And now.
That's right, dear viewer. This episode is about AI as well. There'd be a part 4 probably, but I'm sick of talking about AI now. Not for this one, at least not until I get to the end, but I think this one is alright. It starts off a bit blah, but the ending is intense. Once upon a time, there was a person called Mr. Faultman. An unusual name, you may think. You're still allowed. And Mr. Faultman was concerned for the devastation being wrought upon the environment by other people. At least, he said he was concerned. Even though I'm making this up, I can't see into the workings of his mind. But his concern might be viewed as performative when one considers his solution to human-made catastrophic climate change. So, what was his solution to human-made catastrophic climate change? What Mr. Faultman did was gather up lots and lots of other people's money to build a machine that would allow him to travel back in time to put the kibosh on the Industrial Revolution. There's a man who pulled himself up with his own bootstraps. And when it comes to knowing the facts in the realm of so-called artificial intelligence, there seems to be a number of camps that I'll get into here in a bit. But even as I sit here, self-assured in what I'm about to say, there is a scintilla of doubt which I'll get into in a bit. I don't know which bit I'll do first, but you're getting my 2 bits nonetheless. Here in a bit. Knowing the facts, getting to the facts when the information is twisted and adulterated is not without effort, but sometimes the horse just comes out and says shit, which is what Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI Pie in the Sky, did in a video clip I saw during my research, which makes the facts as easy as fuck to finagle out from the sea of shit. Sam Altman said, "We have no idea how we will make revenue from OpenAI Pie in the Sky, but expect once it's fully realised it will provide a means for investors to get their return." He said that right, with a face so deadpan it would make stand-up comedian Jack D so jealous and consumed with envy that he might crack a facial muscle in his fury. Not to harp on about it, dear viewer, but let's really just savour what happened when, in an interview, on camera for all the world to see, and he wanted the world to see it, he said that with $46 billion from investors already spent and gone. I went and added some random numbers I could find. 6.6 billion raised in October 2024, some portion of a 200 million US government contract in July 2025, and another round of investment amounting to $40 billion. Carry the stolen ones and zeros and we end up with a total of $47 billion. It might be more than my hasty arithmetic on a napkin suggests, but $47 billion spent, and though the company is generating revenue, it doesn't generate enough to cover the overheads. So you might say OpenAI Pie in the Sky is a non-profit. But $47 billion up the Swanee, losing money hand over fist, and this man, who looks unwell and also looks like a failed body snatcher clone of Rod Blagojevich, but $47 billion pissed up the wall, losses abound, and this pasty-faced parent fucker says, "Oh yeah, we have no clue how we're going to make money. We're hoping the machine we're building and that can't work as advertised will be able to tell us in the future. You'll get what's coming to you then." As I said, I chanced upon this clip during my research and I thought, oh yeah, there's something solid and real I can use in my material, and then, this is the first bit, there's another bit, but this bit, the first bit, is relevant to this bit I'm doing now, and what it is that what actually happened is I saw some pixels on a screen that behaved in a realistic, if Sam Altman could be described as realistic, and believable, I say believable, I mean what he said, would be like something I would write as a joke, but pixels on a screen and audio that evinced the reality of a television studio populated with audience, Sam Altman and interviewer. I don't believe it was generated by AI, but these days it is not an improbable event, especially in an arena where communication about the subject is a treacherous water to navigate, which would lead us nicely onto the second bit I mentioned before. And then I mentioned it again, didn't I? And this is now the third time I've mentioned it. But I've got another bit that isn't an aside, that isn't a put a pin in it placeholder. It's just a bit that won't fit. An unfit bit. That's right, I have a third bit. I saw a doctor about it and they told me to pull myself together. But I don't understand all that medical terminology. It does fit. It's not really an unfit bit. It's not a third anything even. It's simply the next part. I just wanted to make my mouth say those things I just said. I'm being self-indulgent again, but in a different way this time. Check this out. Come on. This box here. Cool, eh? It's just a marble floating inside an empty box. How do they do that then? I open the box and then I do this and where are my fingers? You can't see them. But then I do this and show you that it's just half the inside of the box decorated with half a marble stuck on a mirror and then put inside the box at a 45-degree angle. It's not magic. It wasn't even a camera trick really. Until I pulled the curtain back, there would have been people out there in the world right now breathing our air who would have seen that and thought I was fucking Merlin. Just like to say right off the top of the hat, fuck the magic circle. I was always a person who wanted to know how an illusion or trick was done so that I could appreciate it even more. So, as you do, I fed into the search box on evil YouTube, how does Dynamo do what Dynamo does, or rather what Dynamo did because he's no longer available. This was a few years back, but amongst the top results were hysterical thumbnails claiming that street magicians were Satan's new scourge upon the earth and that their sorcery was real. I have never had such a laugh in all my life while watching some cool street magic delivered by artists at the top of their game. Was it a clever sleight of hand and camera trickery?
Or was it Beelzebub manifesting his power upon the earth to entertain slightly inebriated pedestrians on a Saturday night in the city?
It sounds ominous either way. If I was in advertising, this would definitely be one way I'd get my eyes on the prize. Oh yeah, they have no mad skills. They just sold their soul to Satan and hey presto, never-ending baguette emerging from a closed fist. As hilarious as I found it, of course, I wasn't the target audience. Evangelical Christians were the target demographic. Their education about how you get a quarter ton of fresh fish out of one water pail is different to yours and mine. They get their learning about magic from the Bible, whereas I get mine from Jonathan Creek. There's a reasonable chance you might not know who Jonathan Creek is, so I'll give it another go with a broader reference. They get the learning about magic from the Bible, whereas I get mine from the Masked Magician. There's a better chance you know who the Masked Magician is, but sadly he's not as cool as Jonathan Creek, who actually makes the magic tricks, and eats Weetabix as well. It's so awesome. Which nicely segues into the second bit I mentioned a number of times previously, and, at last, here it is. Researching the subject for this series of routines on AI, I observed there are a number of camps willing to put forward— see that? I said put forward instead of promulgate. Just thinking about AI is diminishing my cognitive abilities. A number of camps willing to put forward, their particular ideas concerning AI. 10th one we have, The AI bubble isn't going to burst, crowd. What's going on there then? I didn't actually watch any of those videos. Corpo bootlickers, investors, the difference? Tent 2, we have AI. It really is having a thought. It is alive in some fashion, which is a tent on a spectrum, I tell you, because it starts off with maybe it is exhibiting real intelligence. 2,
We must usher in the era of a perfect AI god.
Tent 3, we have the bubble bursters, whose only problem right now is that the weasel hasn't popped yet. Don't get so excited. The explosion will cover us all in shit, you know, on top of the crust of shit we're already caked in generally, not to mention the shitification of all things ensuring our future is basically playing out in a toilet. Tent 4, and we have AI productivity gurus, and I know it is wrong to dehumanize people, but are they really people or human? I think it's okay to choke them with a soap on a rope. Kill and cleanse, that's streamlining. Tent 5, yes, there's a lot of tents. You might have noticed that this colossal fucking boondoggle is the primary motivator of the US economy, so everybody's got their hand out, ain't they? Tent 5, we have actual AI corpos releasing material about their products and future plans. Slick, sick, glistening shit. Tent 6, we have knowledgeable educators with no axe to grind who try to explain the business shenanigans or how a large language model works and how it could never be intelligent, or they describe the environmental impact. There are people out there who know what they're talking about, but they're not easy to find. When I do find them, I guard them jealously and keep them all to myself like the dragon of legend that hoarded the television remote. Tent 7, we have unknowledgeable educators with axes and grinding to do. Hello. Oh, they say, no machine could ever be truly intelligent. These ones are seemingly against AI research in general, which is an odd position to take. It's not my position. It's not limited to the subject of AI either. If you have an interest in physics, you could either end up with a good lay knowledge of the subject as it has been communicated, or ancient aliens. You might think you are immune to the bullshit, but you are most assuredly not. At least, I hope that's the case, because I don't want to be alone on this one. The trouble with the subject of AI is that it's huge and constantly evolving. This is out of date before I finished filming it. That's why it smells. I think that's enough punishment for now, but you have been very naughty, and so you definitely deserved it. Thanks for watching. Good night.